Okay, so God bless you, everybody. The theme for today's podcast is how to navigate social media as a Christian. My name is Vanya.
And I'm Valerie. And a little bit about me is I'm a college student at Sonoma State and I'm studying psychology.
I am a stay-at-home dog mom. I'm living the dream. I'm blessed. And I am 31. So you guys kind of have an idea. Like, I think it'd be good for people to know our age, right?
I'm 21. Oh, I'm turning 21.
Okay, so it's a good gap. It's a good gap. And we're just going to go ahead and dive right in.
Okay, the first question is, what's your social media presence like? And the sub-question is, do you think your online identity matches who you are in real life? Why or why not? So, to be honest, I feel like my main social media would be TikTok. I'm not on Instagram. I'm not on like any of like the Twitter or X now. Like I feel like TikTok is more of my thing, but I post on there occasionally, not as much as I would want to, just because I feel like right now I'm trying to navigate how to represent Jesus in my account, and like I don't want it to be focused on me, so I'm like trying to figure out how to help others be closer to God and not focus it on like songs and like I guess like some people on TikTok do dances. Like I really want to center it around Jesus. So that's me right now. Like I'm not too much on posting.
Okay, for me, I have social media, right? Like I'm on my phone and I do check social media. So I'm not gonna be like, oh, you guys like put this in there. Like I'll sometimes like I think everybody falls into that pattern of like just wasting time mindlessly.
The doom scrolling.
Yeah, and sometimes like that's myself. I'm just like about it. Like you need to stop, But I don't know. Like for me, I don't know if it's like just a matter of like I don't care about it. Like suppose you get me, or I don't know. Like it's kind of interesting because I grew up in again like I'm 31, so I grew up when like MySpace came out. So like I've had social media, like it kind of it wasn't always part of my life.
Okay.
You get me? And I feel like for me, it was when I was younger that I was like, oh, like I'm gonna post this and post that, and it was a constant thing. But I think now, as I've got older, like my mentality about it has definitely changed.
Because for me, I like grew up with social media. Like not that I was on it all the time, but like for example, TikTok before was Musically, and I would do like the little like ASMRs and like the dances and everything. But I mean, I realized like I've been on it for so long. Like I kind of think about like it's hard to let go. Also, thinking about it now, I tried, but it wasn't willingly. It was during the what is it? The TikTok ban it was last year in January, and it was for like literally as soon as they said that like TikTok wasn't going to be in the US anymore, I like deleted the app, and then literally the next morning it was like back on, and I tried to download it again and I couldn't. So I had 2 weeks with no TikTok, and honestly I feel like I have so much free time and I want to do it again, like with the purpose of like letting go of social media a little bit, but I still haven't gotten around to that.
Well, let's see if it happens. I mean, you get me? Like I think at times like just trying it out too.
Yeah.
Like just.
But I honestly feel like even sometimes like just in like a waiting room or something, it's just like the need to like be on your phone. Like I don't have any like no notifications, no messages, like nothing interesting is going on. But like just to be on my phone, and I feel like I have to definitely change that. But one of the questions also, do you think your online identity matches who you are in real life?
So for me, I would say yes. Like even because I'm very cautious of like people that I add and stuff like that. Like I don't like my account is private. Like I don't know. So I feel like for the most part, like anybody who has me on social media knows me personally. And I've always been very vocal about my beliefs and who I am, you get me? Yeah. So for me, it's like if I post, I'm not posting anything inappropriate. I'm not posting something that I shouldn't be doing or something that's like out of character for me.
Yeah.
So for me, it's like not like what you see in person is what you're gonna get online, and like vice versa.
I think the same with me, but I feel like the last time like I was posting more on social media, I feel like I wasn't. I feel like it didn't match who I really was. In a way, as like for like TikTok, it was like a couple years ago, but like the lip syncing. And then I look back at like the drafts or like what I post, and I like have it private, like it's not public anymore. But like I would like sing these songs, and I look back at the like the lyrics, and I'm like, that does not identify with me at all. And that's why I'm like, I really want to be careful with what I post.
But I think also one thing like to point out is that like you're still fairly new to the faith, like you get me? And there's that transition for you.
Mm-hmm.
You get me?
That's what I'm trying to find right now.
Yeah, so like you get me, like that's important, like because like, again, like it's what I tell people, like you now wouldn't do the things that you would do then, but again, like the vow back then isn't the vow that is now. Here now, you get me?
Yeah.
So I think that's something to keep in mind. And so I guess it's a way where you can look back at it and be like, man, like
I see the growth.
Definitely. You get me? And I think it's nice where you're just like, oh, I could actually see it. It's not like, oh, I remember. Like, no. Like, you have the proof of it, right? And that's one thing where you could say, like, that's where you've seen Christ work in your life, and you've seen that you're like, oh, those things I would do before, I don't do anymore. And I
feel like I don't even realize it until I look back at it, because I'm like, I can't believe I actually like decided to post that. Like, it was, I wouldn't say it was like terrible, but definitely like it's not who I am. And so I'm just grateful for everything that's led me to be here now. You want to get another question? Let's see.
Okay. So is it possible to glorify God through social media?
I think it is possible. It's very possible. But I guess even just posting a verse can help someone. For me, like I am like in my new walk of faith with Christ too. And so I've been wanting to figure out how to glorify God on my social media. But I also sometimes feel like I don't want to be like a hypocrite or fake, because I know that I'm not perfect. And then like posting it, it's kind of like, you also allow people to judge you. And so I really want to like focus on my faith and my relationship with God before like I start posting him and like all about Jesus. And then like behind, I feel like I'm still struggling in a lot of things.
I think like one thing that, to talk about that is I think realistically, like you might always find yourself struggling. You know what I mean? Like there's always going to be something struggling. And something I think, like you said, that I think it's important to make is like none of us are perfect. Mm-hmm. You get me? And because if one day I feel like I'm gonna post a Bible verse and people feel another way about it, like then may God forgive them, because that's an issue in their heart. Like that's a posture of their heart. And they need, help with that matter. You get me? Like at the end of the day, if you have the intention of like wanting to, like you said, post a verse, you get me? And you're doing it with the intention of glorifying God, then that's all you have to worry about. Because if we get into the, oh no, I'm not gonna post because people are gonna judge me, and we're never gonna move forward.
Yeah, and I think that's something that I'm working on right now, because I feel like for so long I've been having that like want of posting and like doing things. I just didn't know how to start or where to begin in that. And so I kind of held back, but then I realized how much time has passed by that I could have been doing something. And so this year, like I really want to focus and glorify God on social media, and to really just put my faith out to the public.
And I think like one thing too, right, because it says, what does that look like, right, to glorify God on social media? And I think this is a perfect example of it, like us sitting down
and having a conversation,
just having a conversation, and like, which don't get me wrong, like it's nice like to have those conversations alone with people, because at times like there's things we want to talk about that we just want to keep private and whatnot. Yeah. But in this way, we're gonna be able to reach so many other people. Yeah. In like you get me so capacity that we would have never been able to do.
Yeah, and it's funny because me and my friends, well, one of my best friends, like we literally do this every Tuesday. Like we just sit in the car and we talk. And like that's actually kind of what led me to come to this church. Like the conversation of just like wanting to be better, and she brought up God to me, and she started telling me to come to church. And so honestly, like those friendships, those relationships are so important also in your faith, because it kind of like it led me here, And I think there's also a verse in the Bible that was brought up too. I'm gonna look for it.
Do you remember maybe what it was about?
It was about your friendships, the people around you. Oh, I think it's Ephesians 4:29. It says, "Do not let unwholesome talk come out of your mouths, but only what is helpful for building others up according to their needs, that it may benefit those who listen." So those conversations and us doing it publicly, it's kind of like we have to also be trying to help others.
Oh, definitely. I agree. But what's funny, I was like, I didn't put it down on my notes. Because I actually had put 1 Timothy 4:12 that says, "Let no one despise your youth, instead you should be an example to the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, in faith, in purity."
Oh,
And I
that's
think
similar.
like that's important for. I think I'm gonna base it more for like the youth because I think, well, don't get me wrong, like, there's adults that like into social media and like post,
Yeah.
which no shade to them, you get me, like at all. But I think more so for you guys because you guys have grown up with social media. It's kind of like a part of your life,
Yes.
and I think that's kind of like the difference in mentality. Like for me, it wasn't. Like yes, it came out when I was like young, like in my teen years.
Yeah.
But for you guys, I think you guys have been exposed from such an early age, so it's different.
I also think even just the time that I had social media, I don't know if it's just because I had like grown up, but I've also feel like social media has become like such a judgmental place right now. Like before, people could openly like express themselves, and then now, even like I mean, people can comment anything, and they've always have. But like right now, people like will comment like
Crazy things.
a lot of stuff, and that's I don't even comment anymore. Like I'm like I'd rather just not say anything, you know. But I feel like it's become so judgmental. So I feel like it's also really hard, at least for me and maybe other Christians, but to post because then it's like the fear of being judged. Also, that's what I.
But I think you have to remember, like, right, like, where Christ tells us, like, pretty much, like, be ready to be denied because they denied him. Like,
Yeah.
like the world literally denied a perfect man, like a man who was without flaw, without sin. So how much more are they gonna criticize us and deny us when we're flawed, we're imperfect? Like you get me? Like we're nowhere near. Well, I'll speak for myself. I'm nowhere near being like Jesus.
Yeah.
And like the world was capable of like crucifying him.
Yeah.
So I think again, like with what you were saying, like you wanting to post and you realize like how much time has gone by. You know, I mean, it's like at times we hold ourselves back. And it's not like to make you be like, oh my gosh, no, I should have done it or like bring shame to you. But it's like, you know, like what are you waiting for, girl?
It's
like,
just the growth kind of because I feel like I think I mentioned earlier that there was a time during COVID I had an account, let's say like a fanfic account. It was a whole nother thing, but I had that, and then I regretted it, you know, and I deleted all those videos. And in that time, I was so anxious of like everything going on, like. I had my own problems going on at home. Also with COVID, it just felt like it was never gonna end. And I posted a video and it was like, believe in Jesus or go to hell. And I feel like that was not the right, at least for me, I felt like that might have been too forward, especially for me, to just say that or write it out to TikTok, to the public, because it had a bunch of followers on it. And so now that I'm growing in my relationship with God, like I have a better way to explain that. I know now like God loves you and like everything that he's done for us, and also just to have a deeper understanding. You want to go on to the next question?
Let's go.
Let's see. Okay. What healthy boundaries should Christians set with social media?
Okay, so I think definitely would be being mindful of who you follow and what you watch,
Okay.
right? Because I can't expect myself to watch something that can corrupt me spiritually or like in any way and expect for me to get closer to Christ. And I think that's a boundary that we all need to learn. You get me? Like,
Yeah.
and I also think like even taking it a little step further, I think at times we have to learn to be mindful of the things that we like. They go back to people that we know. And not necessarily like, oh, like let me not do it because what they're gonna say, but it's
Yeah.
like you don't know if something that you can resist, your fellow brother or sister in Christ can also resist. You don't know if you're gonna lead them into something deeper,
Yeah.
and something that they struggle with.
Yeah, I mean, when I see the question, I think like music, on Instagram, you post something, you put a song, or TikTok, I feel like music is a huge thing. But I think the intentions you have with posting or what you're watching is so important. There's also a verse saying, and let me see. I know this one. Oh, here. It says, it's from Colossians chapter 4, verses 5 through 6. It says, be wise in the way you act towards outsiders. Make the most of every opportunity. Let your conversation be always full of grace, seasoned with salt, so that you may know how to answer everyone. And I think that's a boundary with also like posting. Like, you don't want to mislead anyone. You don't want to like influence people to think a certain way, like to do something that isn't Christ-like, or kind of like make them fall into sin. But as in like followers and all that, there's another sub-question. It says, is it ever okay for a Christian to unfollow, mute, or block someone?
What do you think about that?
For me, okay, at least, okay, on Instagram, I'm private on there. And I just don't want, let's say, my family has found me on there. I wouldn't really want them on there, just not that I'm doing anything bad, but just because like it just feels like so personal. But on there, I try to keep it as private as possible. On TikTok, it's public, so anyone can follow that one. I don't post on there yet, but yeah, that one's. But is it ever okay for a Christian to unfollow? I think it's okay in certain circumstances.
Explain.
Okay, let me see. I think for me, I don't want my parents on social media, to be honest. Just because it's personal to me. It's not that I'm doing anything bad again, but it's just I want to keep it to certain people, if that makes sense. So that's why it's more like, not that I unfollow them, I just don't even put them. If that makes sense. So, what about you? What do you think?
Oh, I say you have to unfollow, block somebody.
But do you think there's certain circumstances where it's like wrong?
I say if you're doing it with like an ill intention, like, oh, I don't like that person, then you need to repent. Like, I don't think, again, like, I think one thing we have to remember is the intention that I have behind everything that I do.
That's true.
Right? So, like, let's say that, like, for example, if I have somebody on social media and I don't feel like there's a point where it's like I need to set a boundary with that person. Like we no longer talk to each other. Or we no longer like have a relationship that we used to.
Mm-hmm.
Then for me, it's like, okay, if I don't even communicate with you, then why are you interested in my life?
Okay. Yeah, because I also feel like sometimes some people are nosy and they only follow you to know what's going on in your life.
Yeah.
And so I guess in that circumstance, it's okay. But to be honest, I kind of feel bad blocking people.
Okay, I don't know about blocking.
Blocking, because that feels like a personal thing. Like that feels like too much for me.
No, I don't know about unblocking, but like I think unfollowing definitely like it. Or like let's say if you're seeing somebody like post things that you're like, okay, like I don't need to be watching this and stuff.
You're
it's
right.
Like, why am I gonna keep going back to it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like we're called to be wise, and at times like if you have to unfollow somebody, like do it. Or even like muting things, right? Like if things that you don't want to see, why are you gonna allow it to keep popping up?
Wait, okay. This is another like question because I think of it like, is it ever okay? I honestly didn't understand mute at first. I kind of thought of it of like when you post, but you kind of like erase or like you make it private so certain people don't see it on Instagram, like close friends.
Okay.
Like, is that okay? Do you think like leaving out certain stuff so certain people don't see stuff?
But again, it's like the intention behind it. Like I mean, like I I think that's why, like, for me, social media at times, like, I struggle with it because for me, like, I'm a very private person. So I think that kind of goes back to like social media, like why I don't post.
Yeah.
Like I'm kind of like, if people need to know, like the people that need to know are going to know. And we have to remember, if we choose to be on social media and we choose to have followers, they're bound to see what we're gonna post. So either you're gonna post it with the intention, well, people are gonna see it, or it's like, why even post?
Yeah, you're right.
But that, again, that's my mentality. You get me? So it's kind of like, okay, if you want to share something like with certain people, that's fine. You get me? Like, I don't think that's necessarily bad, but again, it's like with the intention that you're doing.
What's the intention?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I kind of got stuck on this question too, because I
was like, I do it.
I mean, I think, well, have I? I don't know if I have. I don't think I have, but if I have, like, I need to think about it.
There is like close friends, right?
Yeah, there is close friends.
Kind of like.
To be honest, I post on close friends, but just to see it through my perspective, or like through others' perspective. But you know, I never put it public, anyways. But it's just, yeah, that's. Yeah, I'm like, I have to think back at it.
Okay.
Can I go to another question?
Yes. So the main question is, does social media impact your relationship with God positively or negatively? And I'll do the sub one after because it's kind of two different topics.
For me, it's both. In a positive manner, I think I've learned a lot on social media through, I mean, there's like the TikTokers Stuart and Cliff and what's his name? Bryce Crawford. I don't know, have you seen them at all?
I've seen, what was it, you said Clifford, right?
Uh-huh.
I've seen him, but
like they go preaching out in universities, and I think that's definitely helped me a lot. And sometimes phones can listen on like what you're talking about, but I feel like sometimes even just like without saying anything, like the videos pop up of like what I'm thinking or what I'm questioning. And so I feel like in some ways those videos have definitely helped me in my faith and just have a better understanding. But negatively, I think, well, it's specifically social media or just like tech, because
just social media.
Social media. I guess in that negative way too, I think sometimes I might have let it influence me in the way that I think, and it wasn't like biblical. Like I kind of just see it and I'm like, oh, and I start thinking about it. And I feel like that happened more often like a couple years ago. I feel like right now it's like I'm trying to get the word directly from the Bible. Like I'm not just letting a TikTok like kind of influence what I'm gonna do. I think in that way it's been negative on me too. What about you?
For me, I think I'd say both as well. I think you can see in both ways. Hearing certain preachers and seeing like for me, I like to see like multiple, like a broad spectrum of like biblical topics and stuff like that. But again, like I always take everything that I hear like with a grain of salt.
Yeah.
Meaning that I'm not gonna just like, oh well, this person said it and it's true. Like, no. Like I'm always gonna go check with the word.
Yeah.
Because I think that's one thing too that we have to be mindful of, what I'm listening to, like who I'm listening to, and I think we just have to be mindful. So I think in that aspect, like even hearing other people like just have certain conversations, and you're like, oh, this is interesting. You get me? And they have drawn me closer to Christ, right? But I think like negatively, it's like I've mismanaged a lot of my time, you get me, and that affects my relationship.
That's
with
true.
Christ.
Me too.
So it's like again, it has in a positive way, but it also has in a negative way.
Yeah, and no, bringing back to like time spent on social media, that's definitely something I'm struggling with. I feel like I've struggled with it a lot. I think ever since COVID, I just like, it was a bad time. Honestly, I feel like even during school on Zoom, I would be on my phone, and ever since then, I have the habit of just being on my phone, and I don't have anything to do on it. Like I really don't. Like if I didn't have TikTok, or I think TikTok, honestly, like I just wouldn't even use it, or for messages, honestly only. I think I've mismanaged a lot of time, and another thing too, I feel like I have had the bad habit of starting my day on social media or on my phone and then ending off the day also. And I've tried to change that habit with just putting my Bible next to my bed, like on my bed. Like I don't have any like little table next to me. I put it on my bed. And so instead of picking up my phone, I like try to read a little bit of the Bible, starting off my day, ending off the day. And I remember there was this one week and I was so like disciplined of it and I want to do it again. And I did it for 1 week of starting my day off reading the Bible, ending off my day reading the Bible and just praying. And I've never felt so good. Like the whole day, like it was a whole nother like energy that I felt. Like I just felt so at peace, so good. And I need to do it again. I've been wanting to, but it's definitely sometimes
Oh my
struggle.
God. For me, I'm like, that's not energy, that's the Holy Spirit.
Oh yeah. It's so
I'm sorry. Like I know, like sometimes
it's just so hard to come
I just
out.
have to clarify because at times, like, don't get me wrong, like I think a lot of times, like the words that we use,
Yeah,
you
you're
know,
right.
like
You're
have a
right.
lot
Thank you
to
for
do. No, like just like just a little for it.
Yeah.
Like you get me because again, like when we spend time with the Lord, you get me like
yeah.
it changes.
You're feeding your spirit
Yeah.
instead of your flesh.
Yeah, and it's, you get me, and you even saw the change. And then
Yeah.
it's like what about moving forward again? I forget like how long they say it takes to like pick up a habit or make something a habit. And I think at times like we have to be self-disciplined, especially when it comes to reading our word and praying and fasting, because those are things that we don't want to do. Like let's be honest. Like for me, sometimes I don't want to do it, and I'm like, like Jesus forgive me, like forgive me, because I should be doing it.
I feel so bad. Another thing I've also realized with just I guess social media and like communicating, I think of it as in like God waits for me all day to talk to him, and like at the end of the day, I start going on TikTok, like I start like doing other things, and then when I go to sleep, it's like a quick prayer, and then go
It's
to
like
bed.
the whole day you spend talking to everybody else but God.
Yeah.
Because you're so caught up.
That just came to me a couple of months ago, and I realized I'm like, sometimes when I want to text someone and they're not like answering, I'm like I kind of wish that you'd answer. Like I want to have a conversation with you. And then I've been realizing I'm like, that's the same thing I've been doing with God. Like I'm putting him as in like in the very back, as a backup, And it's definitely something that I need to work on, and I feel like a lot of people might be struggling with it too.
And I think that's something that we have to be mindful, right? Like when it comes to regards to the Holy Spirit, like the word tells us, like, to not make him sad, right?
Yeah.
And at times, like with our actions, we do. And, like, again, like it's a matter of us holding ourselves accountable for our actions. Because I could have the desire to constantly to read my word, but if I don't act on it, then I could have that desire, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah, sometimes I forget, like, I can make God sad. Like, that hurts me.
I'm sorry, God. I'm sorry.
Yeah, like, I don't know, like, that hurts me. Like, I realize I'm like, I'm sorry. No, and I also realize, like, I realize that so much, and I'm like, I don't want to go to God just when I'm feeling like at my lowest. Like, I want to go with him, like, in my good times and my bad times, like in every moment. And just like, that's why even like now I'm like trying to be more aware of that. And even just like on my drive, like I'm like, Lord, like, help me get there safely, or just like help me, like I'm feeling anxious right now. Like I like try to throughout the day, talk to him, because he really wants to talk to us, and then I leave him last. And so
yeah, but I think also one thing that like we also have to keep in mind, just because we're on this topic, like having that communication with Christ, right? Like we don't always have to necessarily like be on our knees to talk with God. Like I can have a conversation with Christ any time of the day because I have that access to him.
Yeah.
You get me? It's like, and I think sometimes we get into this mentality of like being too religious, like, oh no, if I'm not in my room alone with him and if I'm not kneeled down, then I can't have like, or I'm not praying correctly. You get me? Like, no, at the end of the day, like God is everywhere. Like, he is all powerful.
Yeah.
And we have to keep it in mind. And sometimes I'm like you, I'm driving, but I'm having a whole conversation with you.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not gonna tell you, like, oh yeah, he's talking back to me.
Yeah.
But like, I'm just like pouring my heart out, like, Jesus, like, this really bugs me, or somebody pissed me off.
No,
Like, Jesus,
literally.
like, you know.
No, and I imagine it sometimes how funny it can look to someone just driving next to me. Because I'm just like, either I have like my song, like my worship songs on, I'm just like singing, or I'm like talking like to God. And I just imagine what the person next to me, like driving at a stop sign, like just seeing.
I'm like, hey, girl, you know, I'm talking to somebody on the phone.
Yeah, no, literally. That's why I have my phone right there, so it looks like I'm talking to someone.
Girl, like, to me, I'm like, they don't break out.
Yeah, obviously. No, yeah, but that's definitely.
Okay, so the sub question is, has social media ever impacted your emotional or mental health?
I think, yes, definitely. I think one example, I'm bringing it back to COVID because COVID was.
A dark time.
Yeah. Wait, what was the question again? I'm like, the thoughts are just.
Has social media ever impacted your emotional or
Okay.
mental health?
I feel like emotionally, at the time, there was a lot of anxiety, and the social media was not helping whatsoever. I feel like my TikTok started popping up like a lot more videos of like the rapture and Jesus coming soon and like all of that. Yeah, and I would watch it, so more videos would come up. And to be honest, I got so into it that I would literally fall asleep to like these YouTube videos of like a guy explaining what would happen. And like,
So you were legitimately
I was
constantly.
no, like it was that was my whole thing during COVID, and I feel so bad for myself having to go through that, but like social media was not helping whatsoever, and I think I got into really bad anxiety of even going back to school or waking up early. I felt nauseous, like I could not eat, like it was affecting my like physical health too. And so social media did impact me. It wasn't like a specific person, but it was just like my For You page, like all the conversations and videos that would pop up. It was just kind of leading me to dig a deeper hole. But I remember that it's funny, God's always been in my life. I just sometimes didn't realize it was Him. But when I had like all that happening, I would bring that conversation up with one of my best friend's dad, because like he comes to this church, and I remember him saying, there's a verse in the Bible that says 10,000 will not fall on your right side, or no, 10,000 can fall on your right side and another on your left side, but God will protect you. I'm not sure which verse it is, but I know it's in the Bible. But he said that, and that gave me so much peace. And I like, it's such a random conversation, but it was literally God. It was God talking to me because I was going through so much panic, and it was God talking to me through my best friend's dad. And
But I think that also goes back into one of the conversations that we had. Well, you know, just in general, that we have today about social media and the impact that it has on us, right? Like,
Yeah.
in that point, like, we see the negative side of it because it legitimately costs you anxiety.
yeah, literally.
You get me? And then the Bible verse we were talking about was Psalm 91. It says, 10,000, though 1,000 fall at your side and 10,000 at your right hand, the pestilence will not reach you. You will only see it with your eyes and witness the punishment of the wicked. Because you have made the Lord my refuge, the Most High, your dwelling place.
Yeah, that's the verse.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny, I mean, thinking about it now, I was 15 at the time. I was panicking through that, but I'm still here.
Well, glory to God for
Yeah,
that one, right?
thank God.
But for me, I would say yes on the emotional, because sometimes if I'm feeling sad or something, if I'm feeling down and I see a video that makes me laugh, like that affects me emotionally.
Oh yeah.
It's little subtle things that we don't put importance to at the moment, but in reality, if we go back and we think about it, right, or like, I don't know if any of us have watched the video and you see something happen. Like if you were to play me a video of somebody kicking a dog, I'd be angry. You get me? So like, yes.
It does.
That doesn't come up. Like,
I forgot.
Like, you know,
Yeah.
or like, or sometimes like, you know, you see people getting arrested because of things that they do to their animals, and I'm just like, Jesus.
Yeah.
You know, so yes, like social media has impacted me like emotionally. My mental health, I don't know if I would really say if it has or hasn't. I think that's like a topic. Like I know we have the questions, but I don't think that's something that I really thought about. But I think in a way, yes. I think if we put too much of our focus on something, it's bound to have either negative or positive impact on our lives.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, I forgot to add. There was also positive emotional. I was talking about the negative. The thoughts were coming back. But yeah, definitely there's positive impact in my emotional health with TikTok and just videos. Like, sometimes I feel like it really is God just giving me the word because I'm thinking about something and then it pops up and I'm like, okay, it's you. But yeah, but it does have a positive.
You know what, like just like a little side note in that, right? Like you know how there's people that like they'll post like, oh, this word is for you today.
Oh my gosh.
And like to me, it's like I was having a conversation with somebody else the other day about that. And they're like, you know, like don't get me wrong, like I know Jesus to talk to me, like or the Lord can talk to me whenever he wants to. But it's like, but is it really him telling me like everything? Like
no,
yeah.
Like, no,
I'm not feeling this.
Oh
like,
my gosh, wait. I remember I wanted to have this conversation too. Because there's people that are like, if you scroll, you don't love God. I would see that all the time. And as a kid, I would like watch the video. I was like, I don't want to make him like feel bad. Or did I say right? But, but like now, I mean, I see that. I'm like, okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, but I do see that.
But then again, like it could also be like a shameful, like right, like
right?
It's like it's casting down shame, where it's like they almost like want to force you to do it. You get me? And is this really about God, or is this you about getting
views? Yeah, I sometimes really do think about it too, because it's like there's kids that watch those videos now too, and they will like also panic that they don't love God because like they're not liking it. Like they have that. I don't know why. I feel like it's my brother, but even on Roblox, like this is so random. People would be like also talking about Jesus on there.
It's funny that you talk about like Roblox, right? Because I've seen that there's like people who are like certain churches on Roblox.
Oh.
Yeah, like there's people like who like will go and preach. Like it's becoming a whole thing. Like there's a community in Roblox.
Really?
Yes, that they're evangelizing.
Have you seen it? Like, have you ever gone on it?
No, I haven't gone on it, but I've seen like the clips of it, and I'm just like, oh my gosh! Like, so again, just the power behind this.
Oh, the little kids going through this too.
Yeah, you get me? But I think also like when it comes to kind of getting a little into that is like we have to be mindful. Again, like that's why we have to be mindful with the things that we post and the way that we're representing Christ.
The intentions behind it too. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's a huge one. Intentions. Because sometimes we have intentions of doing something for the better, but we do it in a way that kind of hurts people.
Yeah. But again, I also can't live my life thinking like, oh, if I do this, like I might hurt this person, I hurt that person. Because then again, I can't enter a state of anxiety and allow my emotions to hold me back from doing something that God has called me to do.
Yeah. I think for me, that's also like something I'm working on. Because I feel like I'm a people pleaser for sure. Like I've always been that way. I've grown up that way. So I think it's important to also reflect on like why we're posting, what we're posting, and just let God lead us in those aspects.
But then again, like you have to think about it. Like you're also putting yourself, like using you as an example because you're the one that brought it up, right? Like people pleasing people. Like it's impossible. Like you're trying to put yourself in a standard that you will never be able to do.
Yeah.
You get me? And it's like, okay, you want to please people for what?
Yeah. I think for me, I just don't want to make anyone feel bad sometimes. So I really I think I'm not as vocal. I think that's why I feel like I'm not as vocal on certain topics because I don't want to make anyone feel bad or feel like they're doing something wrong, I guess, in a way.
You see, but that's the thing. It would be different if I was having a conversation with somebody who wasn't like a Christian, right? Mm-hmm. Like for me, I kind of have to be like, okay, well, they shouldn't think the way like this way, maybe like a biblical way, right? Yeah. But I think at the end of the day, it's like if something is right, then it's right, and if it's wrong, then it's wrong. And we have to be able to be bold enough to stand on the truth and call it out. And I can't, like, again, I think one thing I would say, it's not what you say, it's how you say it.
Okay.
Right? Like,
Yeah.
for example, I could be like, Val, why are you posting on TikTok? Why are you doing that?
Mm-hmm.
And me coming to you like, hey Valerie, like, I don't think your posts are that like are portraying you in a Christian matter or the way that you want to be perceived.
Yeah.
There's a difference.
That's another topic that I think we brought up last time. It was like the difference between judging and calling out. Because I feel like I didn't really understand it, as in like when someone's doing something wrong and like you kind of just like point it out at them. Like sometimes you feel like you're doing something wrong, so you don't say anything.
But I think we have to all keep in mind, like, none of us are perfect.
Yeah.
Like, none of us are exempt or above correction, right? And I think that that's where humility comes into play, because nobody likes being corrected.
Yeah.
But again, if I'm doing something that is not representing Christ, that is not Christ-like, then I would appreciate for people to come and tell me. But again, it goes back to the delivery the person has, right? Because there's people, I'm not going to say that there's people that don't go and tell you things and that they aren't judging you. Because unfortunately, you're going to meet people everywhere that are going to come off as judgmental. Or they might be judgmental, you know what I mean? But I also think that we have to learn how to differentiate it, to be like, oh, like no, you're judging me, and oh, you're coming to me because you want me to be better.
Yeah. No, thank you for that.
Yeah.
Thank you for that. I've thought about it so much, and that's why sometimes I feel like I don't say anything. I feel like sometimes even I doubt myself, and like my word, like am I sure like this is from the Bible, like, or I don't know how to explain it, so I just don't say anything, because.
But you see, I think for me, like, that's one thing that I think the youth kind of needs to learn. Like, you guys kind of need to learn to vocalize your ideas or like what you think, because there are adults that do know and they can help you, right? Like, if not, you're gonna stay in that, well, I'm not sure, and you're not growing.
Yeah.
You get me? And like that's one thing that it's like, again, like getting out of your shell, like trying to. It's a process, right? Because it doesn't happen like instantaneously, or it doesn't happen like from one minute to another. But like, or even just going to someone and be like, hey, like I'm not sure about this, you get me? Or like, so I was just curious about it. So like that next time you can be vocal about it. Next time you can give your opinion.
That's what I'm trying to do more. Like I'm trying to be like ask more questions too, because I have questions. I have a bunch of them, but I need to ask more and then really take it all in, because I also feel like I have really bad memory.
Well, girl, that's why like pen and paper have been my course. You get me? Like honestly, we can't put excuses. I'm not saying you are. You get me? But it's like don't let certain things hold you back. Like, because at the end of the day, like we're the only ones, or not the only ones, but many times we're the ones that hold ourselves back.
Yeah, I realized that a lot. I realized I'm my biggest what's the phrase?
You're your worst enemy?
Yeah. Okay. What is a challenge you can make for yourself regarding social media and God?
I think for me would be to make sure that I spend more time with God than social media.
Yes.
Right? And I wrote Ephesians 5.
Ephesians 5. 15
and 17, it says, therefore be careful how you walk, not as unwise men, but as wise, making the most of your time, because the days are evil. So then do not be foolish, but understand what the will of the Lord is. Right? Because, don't get me wrong, like, I could probably post about God day and night.
Yeah.
But I have to ask myself, like, am I pouring more of Him into other people than what I'm getting of Him?
Oh, you're right.
Right? Because God's will is for me to have a relationship with Him.
Yeah.
You get me? Like, yes, He's going to use me. Yes, like, we have been called to proclaim the good news, but I have to remember that the purpose behind me following Christ is for me to be submitted to Christ.
Yeah.
And in order for me to do that, I have to spend time with
Yes. Yeah. I love that. No, definitely. I feel like, I mean, a challenge that I was gonna say was kind of like to put the screen time on your phone and really see how much time you spend on it. Because sometimes it feels like you're on it for like an hour and 30 minutes, and it's been like 5 hours. Like, even I'm surprised by the time that I spend on my phone sometimes. And I do realize I spend so much time on like TikTok and like doing things that are useless, to be honest. Like, I don't remember a single video that I watched on TikTok like from yesterday. Like, I don't think I remember.
Oh, that's so bad.
My memory is my memory to like, yes, change my sleep schedule, fix up. But like, it really isn't that many like things for me on social media. At least like watching right now. I definitely think I have put more time on social media rather than spending time with God. And I think that's a limit I have to put. I have to be really disciplined about it, especially right now, just to grow closer to Him. But yeah.
But going to like what you said about self-discipline, right? Like I think we have to like keep in mind like the fruits of the spirit, and one of them is self-control. And I think that sometimes like that's one that we don't really talk about.
Wait, do you know what verse is?
Yes.
I have to look it up.
You're like, hold on.
Yes. No, because that's something I'm struggling a lot. Like with self-discipline, I'm gonna be honest, even just waking up early, going to sleep early, like I'm putting myself in like an endless cycle of things that are not gonna help me in anything.
So it is in Galatians 5.
Okay.
So going back, right, Galatians 5:22 and 23. But the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, patience, kindness, goodness, faith, gentleness, self-control. Against these things there is no law. And I think that with this topic, I think like it's like, what is it, like hitting the nail on the head? We have to be much better with our self-control. Like when it comes to not only the amount of time we put into social media or we allow it, right? But also in the things that we do, in the things that we post, in the things that I watch, things that I like. You get me? Like, because yes, I could get away, like I could create a fake profile, not at anybody, and be doing things that are like wild or posting things that like I normally wouldn't do, right?
Because it's a secret account.
Yeah, because it's a secret account, but at the end of the day, like I have to remember, like there's always somebody who's watching me, and there's somebody who I cannot fool, and that's God.
Yes.
You get me? So I think that's one thing that we have to ask the Lord for. Like, if I'm not disciplined, like, Lord help me. Like, because that's definitely something that I need to have.
Yeah, that's something I've been asking for also. And it's funny that you bring up, it's like, I mean, God's always watching. But my mom literally said that last night. She's like, I was talking to her. I was talking to her about how, like, we were talking about a whole bunch of stuff, but I was kind of telling her, like, she said that sometimes your kids turn out to be, like, well, the karma, I don't know how to say it, but, like, of what you do as, like, when you're younger. And I was like, you must have been real good because, like, I'm like, because, like, I get so anxious to do something bad or, like, something wrong. And she was like, well, God's always watching you. And I was like, I know that. And that does definitely.
Just because, like, again, like, I think anxiety is something that you've been talking about, right? So I want you to go to Matthew 6:25.
Let's see, Matthew 6:25.
Mm-hmm.
How's it?
Does it have, like, the topic on it for you?
Do not worry.
So for me, it says the cure for anxiety.
Oh, it's.
So I'm gonna read it. This is why I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Isn't life more than food and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the sky. They don't sow or reap or gather into barns, yet our Heavenly Father feeds them. Aren't you worth more than they? Can any of you add a single cubit to its height by worrying? Or why do you worry about clothes? Learn how the learn how the wild flowers of the field grow. They don't labor or spin thread, yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was adorned like one of these. If that's how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and thrown into the furnace tomorrow, won't he do much more for you? You of little faith. So don't worry, saying, what will we eat, or what we will drink, or what we will wear? For the idolaters eagerly seek all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. But seek first the kingdom of God and his righteousness, and all of these things will be provided for you. Therefore, don't worry about tomorrow, because tomorrow will worry for itself. Each day has enough trouble of its own.
Amen. And thank you for that.
Yeah.
Honestly, just reading it, I think there's so many different occasions in my life where I've had anxiety and God's always provided. But yeah, I feel like my body, my mind kind of not fails me, we're human, but I still fall into that. And I know it. There's the word of God right here. But yeah, I literally have had so many different times in my life where I felt like I've had nothing but God, and God He's always provided. But yeah, this verse is very helpful. I literally
You have it bookmarked.
I have it.
Yeah.
But
because don't get me wrong, I think we're not gonna sit here and be like, oh, when you're a Christian, you're exempt from having anxiety or having all these things, you get me, that can throw us off. Because at the end of the day, we're stuck in this physical body, and this body will betray us.
yeah.
You get me?
Yeah.
And that's something that we have to be very realistic about. It's not like, oh, I come to Christ and everything's fixed. No.
Yeah, and that's a verse I wanted to bring. This one I do remember. This one I was reading it today in the morning. Romans chapter 7, verse 15, it was Paul, it says, I do not understand what I do, for what I want to do, I do not do, but what I hate, I do, and if I do what I do not want to do, I agree that the law is good. As it is no longer I myself who do it, but it is sin living in me. For I know that good itself does not dwell in me, that is, in my sinful nature. For I have desire to do what is good, but I cannot carry it out. For I do not do the good I want to do, but the evil I do not want to do. This I keep on doing. And that's literally me right now. That verse has just stood out to me so boldly. There's so much good I want to do. I want to get rid of this anxiety. It does get to me. It does. But I have to remind myself, I have to put my faith in God and know that He's in control of everything. I shouldn't be worrying about the same verse that you gave me in Matthew. I should not be worrying about tomorrow, because I also think about it. God sees everything. He sees past, present, and future. So everything that I've done, everything that happens, He already has that planned out. So I worry myself for no reason. I put myself in that cycle. And so just bringing it back to the Bible, reading the word really does help. It gives you peace. It gives me peace. And we have to read more for sure.
Girl, definitely. But it's funny, the fact that you brought that verse, right? Because if we look at it, we're, you said, that was the Apostle Paul wrote it. That's the man who was bold enough to be like, if you can't follow Christ, follow me. So he thought so highly of himself that he made that declaration.
Oh, wow.
So imagine if he felt like, I'm as close to Christ, so if you guys can't follow him, follow me. And he still wrote that. He still wrote that he had these difficulties, he had this challenge. So, what more, what can we expect? You get me? Because I would not be bold enough to be like, if you can't follow Christ, follow me. Because nope, I'm gonna lead you all astray, because sometimes I'm like, Jesus, help me. You get me? And that's the thing that at times I think we have to keep in mind, to be graceful with ourselves. You get me? To not be so difficult on ourselves. Again, we can't stay in that mentality of being like, oh no, I'm not gonna do it and I can't do it, and hold ourselves back, because then we're not helping ourselves out. You get me? But I think there's a difference between that. You get me?
Yeah. No, and there was another book that Paul wrote as well, and I was reading it the other night, and he was in prison. And I just imagine, like, to have those words of, like, he knew that he was gonna be okay. Like, even in prison. And then I'm out here, like, I'm okay, like, I have food, I have shelter, like, and I'm, like, worrying about, like, I guess, like, the simplest of things. And I try to, like, bring myself back to it. I'm like, I want to have that faith so bold, just like Paul did. But I do not want to be in a prison. I know, like, yeah. Yeah, but, like, I think of it, and I really do, like, I try to put myself in that, like, mindset of, like, the faith that he had.
But you know what's funny is, like, because we're talking about anxiety, right? And like me, I just like to look at facts and whatnot, right? Like, and like there's studies that show that too much social media can cause depression, anxiety, body image issues, poor sleep, right? So I think that's one thing that we also have to keep in mind. Like, if I'm, like, for example, like when you talk about with COVID, when you were watching all those fracture videos,
Yeah.
like, you know what I mean? But like, again, like, you get me, like, that was the cause of it. Like, it's biblical, but like, it's too much, it's excessive.
It was just adding to the things happening around me, because to be honest, at the time too, my family, my dad, he was trying to figure out his, like, residency situation. And during COVID, one of the buildings that he needed to come back was closed. So he spent 8 months over there. And so, like, there was so much going on, and that's why I'm like, I have to get right with God, because I was so scared that, like, he was gonna come, or that, like, I was being lukewarm. That's another one. That I was being lukewarm because I felt like I wasn't putting my all in God, and I was still doing, like, some wrong things. Definitely, social media can cause anxiety, and I think that when I realized that too, I definitely talked to my mom about it. Like, I conversated, because for me, I feel like I'm the complete opposite. I have to tell people how I feel, like, even in the smallest of things. Like, I will tell my closest friends what I'm going through, and I think that's helped so much. The family and the friendships.
I don't know if you wanted to get into the conversation of, like, you had asked me the question about, like, what being a lukewarm Christian was, right?
I did have that question. I had asked in our walk of faith, when we're, like, a part of the world and we want to grow closer to God, if we all pass that state of lukewarm.
Okay, so just so people know, we're on Revelations 3:14. Yes. So the Bible verse goes right to the angel of the church in Laodicea, the Amen, faithful and true witness, the originator of God's creation, says, I know your works, that you are neither cold nor hot. I wish that you were cold or hot. So because you are lukewarm and neither hot nor cold, I am going to vomit you out of my mouth. Because you say, I am rich, I have become wealthy, and need nothing, and you don't know that you are wretched, pitiful, poor, blind, and naked.
You know, the verse that I always looked at during that time was Revelations 3:16. The neither hot nor cold.
Okay, so just to clarify, right, like what I told you, when being hot or cold, right, or what it means in that sense, is that you are living in a state where, I guess you could say, like, oh, you're neither Christian or you're neither, like, of the world, and you're kind of like a in between, and you haven't made up your state, like, you haven't made a decision, because that's what it comes down to, right? But I do want to clarify, when you come to Christ, right, it's not like you explained it like a transitional period, but that's not it, right? When you're Christian, Like, you have to keep in mind, like, you are learning about Christ. You're learning about what your walk with Christ, or we should be learning, right? When it comes to Christ, like, we should be learning what that looks like. And that's a process called being sanctified. You learning to let go of the things that no longer please God. That's you being sanctified. Being lukewarm is different. It's saying, well, I'm gonna have one foot in church and one foot out in the world.
Yeah.
It's you being indecisive, right? It's saying
You're kind of comfortable where you are.
not necessarily. Yes, you could say you're comfortable where you are, or it's like you haven't decided to necessarily follow Christ. You get me?
Yeah.
And the thing is that when we make that decision, it's either I'm going to follow Christ or I'm not going to. And either decision comes with its consequences. You get me? And that's the thing. Like, that, it's not necessarily like, oh, we've all been lukewarm. Like, God help us from not being lukewarm. Like, maybe always have that conviction in our heart, be like, you know, I'm going to follow you, Christ. But yeah, the being lukewarm is not a good thing, right? Because, like, it says, like, I will follow you.
Yeah, no, when I see that, I'm like, and that's like God telling me, like, that's what scared me too, because I'm like, I do not want to be lukewarm, and I wasn't sure if I was or I wasn't, because I always knew of God, but I didn't know Him personally. Like, I didn't have that relationship with Him, and so I like, even with social media, you know, sometimes like you want to post yourself to like a song that's like really popular now, but then like the lyrics are like, you know, like they're not so good, you know. But you also want to be like posting verses from the Bible, you know. And I think it's important to be aware of that, of like your intentions on those posts too. But also, it's like, if you really want to grow your relationship with God, you have to put more time and effort to God as well. So you're so you're able to know the wrong things that you're doing, basically.
Well, I think like that's why, like, I'm gonna take it back to 1 Timothy 4:12, right, where it says you should be an example to the believers in speech, in conduct, in love, and faith, and purity.
Yeah.
Right? Because there's one thing that we have to keep in mind. When I decide to follow Christ, my goal should be to reflect Christ. That's what my state of mind should be. Because it's no longer about me.
Yeah.
Right? Because I've decided to deny myself, pick up my cross, and follow Christ. And that's one thing we have to, like, every day. And that's, for me, that's one of my favorite Bible verses that I try to, like, repeat on myself daily. Like, you're denying yourself.
Yeah.
You're reflecting Christ. And that comes not only with the way that I think, but the way that I act, the way that I treat others. It has to, Christ has to consume me.
Yeah.
So that people who are stubborn or have a hardened heart and they don't want anything with Christ, that when they see me, they can see Christ's love in me.
Yeah.
And that's one thing that we have to keep in mind. Again, like, am I going to be a follower of Christ? Like, genuinely? And that means that I can't run the risk of them saying, like, oh, but is she a Christian?
Yeah, that's another thing too, because I feel like sometimes, like, there's some Christians that they're like, oh, she did it and she's Christian, so it's okay.
But then again, it's like one thing, I think it's so funny. I think God is so perfect. Like, the way he works. Because I was having a conversation with somebody, and they were kind of telling me about an acquaintance, right, a mutual person we have in common. And they were saying, like, oh, you know, like, if this person hangs out with somebody, she kind of picks up certain traits.
Oh, okay.
Right? And so because she was doing that, and somebody was like, oh, like, you know, like, it doesn't really suit you well, she started hanging out with somebody else, and it started picking up somebody else's traits.
Oh, okay.
But my thing is, like, my identity should come from Christ. The person that I'm trying to reflect is Christ. So that means that I cannot allow anything to influence me that is not Christ-centered. Because at the end of the day, my goal is either when Christ come back or I die, is that I need him.
Yes.
And I get to spend eternity with him. You get me? And I think like yeah, living in this physical world at times it's so easy to forget about it, right?
Yeah.
But it's like we have to we have to keep ourselves in check to be like, no, man, like this is gonna pass.
Yeah. And no. There's so much I want to comment on that. Okay, there was one thing that I also think it's like when we represent ourselves on social media or just in person. There was this like thing on TikTok, but it was like sometimes we're the only Bible people read, like so that's why we should reflect Christ in everything that we do. Just because like even sometimes like little kids or just people that they're like, oh, she's Christian and she does that, so it's okay. And then they think it's okay, and then it's just like it's a cycle.
But again, like for me, right, like jumping into that, it's like, why would you justify knowing something is wrong? Like, why would you try to justify yourself? Like, right, it's like if you know what's wrong, you're like, oh well, that person, like, okay, who cares about that person? Like, you're only in control of yourself.
Yeah, but I guess some people lean on others. Like they don't read the Bible, or they're like kind of basing their relationship with God off other people. Like they don't get into the Word as much, so that's why they're easily influenced by the people around them.
But then again, like that's why we should, right?
We should,
because the
yeah.
Word of God says like my people perish because of lack of knowledge.
What verse is that? I wish I had one of those sticky notes I could add that. Like I have all these sticky notes, but I still can't find the verses. Like.
So you find that in Hosea 4:6.
Hosea.
Mm-hmm. But I think that would just go into a much bigger conversation, right? It's like, why are you letting other people influence you?
Yeah.
When you should be going to Jesus, like
direct.
You shouldn't be relying on other people, because at the end of the day, like our walk is individual, and I can't rely on you to help me obtain my salvation.
Yeah, and I think sometimes like I really try to remind myself and like throughout the day, but like we have direct access to God. Like sometimes it's crazy to me the fact that like we are able to, like how good God is.
Mm-hmm.
Because just a couple months ago, honestly, I didn't know it, and it was like a conversation that came up, but I didn't realize why exactly. In the Bible, it says that our bodies are temples. And I was like, okay, like, yeah, like, we pray and we have access to God. But then I realized too, before Jesus came, everything that people had to do in order to have their sins forgiven, I was like, oh, like, that was so much. And now we have direct access to Him, and we still sometimes don't, like, you do it.
Yeah, like we don't take advantage of it.
Yeah.
Right, but we God help us, because again, like I think that goes back into like a personal thing, like right, like if I choose to not spend time with the Lord, I can't blame anybody else, right? And like just I wanted to add with what we're talking about, like some people relying on other people. Don't get me wrong, like at the end of the day, like in the Bible, it tells us that we are called to be in communion or in fellowship.
Mm-hmm.
It's fellowship, not communion. Fellowship, yeah. Right? Because at the end of the day, it's like when you're feeling down, my job is to be here to lift you up, to help you keep moving forward, right? So I'm not saying that there's anything wrong, because I think having those relationships that bring us closer to Christ are essential. Like for me, if I need prayer, I have my friends that I go to.
Like, yeah.
Hey girl, like this is what I'm going through, you get me? And I think at the top of my mind, like I literally in my hand. Like in my hand. Mm-hmm. But when we're talking about like my sisters in Christ,
yeah,
that number goes even lower.
Yeah.
So you get me? So it's good to have people around us, but again, like we can't depend on them, or we can't. Yeah. We can't like I guess like build a codependency. Like, well, if you do it, I'll do it. Like no, like I'm doing it because I'm grateful. I'm doing it because I have a need. I'm doing it because I need more of God. Yeah. Because that's another thing. It's a personal relationship with God. It's not that someone's a Christian and then we're like, okay, like you're gonna help lead me to Christ. Like I'm just gonna piggyback on you. But yeah, life would be so much easier. Oh, definitely. Dude, like, oh, you fasted for us both? Then
have it. It's a personal relationship.
Which is funny because sometimes, like, with my husband, we'd be like, oh, you prayed? Okay, we're good, you know, like,
yeah.
But again, like, you know, we say jokingly,
The double praise.
we both know, like,
Yeah.
like, your walk in grace is your walk in grace, and my walk in grace is my walk. Like, unfortunately, it doesn't work like that.
Yeah, and I think that's there's so much conversation. I can't go into that, but.
Okay, so the next question is, do you think you could let go of social media, especially if it's affecting your relationship with God?
I think I could, but it would be hard to do, for sure. Just because I feel like social media is my entertainment and my way of communicating with others. And so having to let go of that, I think I would just have to delete it, to be completely honest. Like there's no way that I could have it on my phone and just like I would just open up the app and close it if I could. But like to completely let go of it, I think it would be really hard. I would have to delete it. Maybe even get a flip phone. To be honest, I thought of that. Like sometimes I'm like, do I really need Instagram and TikTok? I kind of just want to get a flip phone and just like, I'm not gonna get any messages really throughout the day. Maybe my mom checking in, but like sometimes I do think of it like that. But I think it would be so hard. But I want to. I want to try one day.
To make it cleanse social media.
Yeah, I want to. I actually want to see how long it could go for. Because as of right now, I feel like it'd probably be 2 days, and then I would download it.
You're like, I'm
yeah.
No, for me, I think I'd be able to.
You would?
I think I'd be able to. Like when it comes to the app, like like being honest, I think like Instagram, Facebook, like delete them. But I think I would struggle with, right? Because like we have to remember, like social media isn't just like those applications. You get me? Like social media.
Yeah, I kind of have been focusing on that. Yeah.
You get me? Like it's very like it's in reality it's broad, right? And I'm trying to I have like 5 tabs open because I keep going back and forth. Because social media in definition is websites and applications that enable users to create and share content or to participate in social networking. So like we're talking about like YouTube and I don't know if like we consider like Spotify or like you get me or like Apple Music, like you get me. So to me it would be like what can I do? Like
like what do I do?
You get me? Like I use it to get closer to God. You get me? But again, if it was having a negative impact, I think I would. Because at the end of the day, like I have to remember, like my life here is temporary, girl, and however the Lord permits me, like you get me, like however long He wants to give me to be on this earth, it is nothing compared to eternity.
Yeah, I think that's also a really hard concept to think about eternity.
I think it's a concept that our minds really can't wrap itself around because we live in a time, right? Like we're born, like, and time is a concept and it's around us constantly. And eternity, it just shuts that all down.
Yeah, there's no months nor years. Like
there's like forever and ever.
I feel like I've been focusing social media on like TikTok because that's my biggest.
No, yeah, but because I think for the most part that kind of is, you get me?
Yeah.
But that's why I was like, I just wanted to say like, okay, like this is the time to like, okay, we make it broader. Like I think definitely either way, regardless of any social media, I think it would come with its challenges.
It would.
You get me? Because it's become so part, like it's become a big part of our day to day. Like realistically, I'm not gonna be here like, I don't look at it like no, I do. Like you mean?
No, I do too.
So it would be definitely challenging. But if I had to choose, if I felt like, oh no, like this is definitely like it's having a very negative hold on me.
Like
delete,
you know? No, I agree with that too.
So the sub question is, how do you know when social media has become an idol in your life?
I think it's something you mentioned earlier, when you spend more time on social media than you do with God.
You see, for me, I think I'm going to throw you a curveball here. Because I don't think you could consider social media an idol. I think you could consider your phone an idol.
Oh.
Right?
Uh-huh.
And I'll explain why.
Okay, yeah.
I'll explain why. And I know, like, what did she say?
Yeah, I'm curious to know.
Because for me, right? Like, so clarification, an idol in definition is an image or representation of a god used as an object of worship, or it can be a person or thing that is greatly admired, loved, or revered. So in definition, I don't think it could be an idol. I think our phones could become idols. You
Yeah.
know, I think we could have horrible time management. You get me? And that's not okay. But what's interesting is like for me, like I was kind of like bouncing this idea with Nick because you know this is my husband, so I have like all types of conversation with this. And something he sent out or he sent me was in the way that it can become an idol, or he said it, or like it promotes self worship through curated highlight reels, fostering comparison, vanity, and a reliance on external validation. But those things, right? Like if let's say if I have a social media, I decide I'm gonna portray myself or like a certain way, and I kind of like am taking too much care into how I look or how I'm perceived, then I'm in that sense like that I'm making an idol of myself, of my image, like because I need to be revered or I need to be saw a certain way. You get me? But it's like for me, I don't think social media can be an idol. I think it could be a misuse of time, and I think that's where we go wrong.
Now you got me thinking too.
Like, which I know there's gonna be people that disagree. They're like, no, it can be, but for me, I don't think so. Because again, like we're talking about, it has to be a thing or a person, and that's why I say our phones. I think our phones definitely become an idol.
Our phones are definitely an idol sometimes. And I say it again, like just waking up, literally waking up and on my phone. Like I have nothing to do on there. I'm just like, it's just the habit of doing it. And then I think it's just a misuse of our time, sometimes a lot of the time. I actually kind of want to check just to be completely honest here, how much time I spend on my phone. Because
so like I know some people say like it can be a modern idol, like a modern idol, whatever. But I think that's the beauty of like having a difference of opinion or like, hey, what do you think about it? Like, you get me? But again, if I come to the day where I'm like, oh no, like I see that point of view and maybe it is, and I don't have a problem admitting I'm wrong or changing my mentality. But like even in school, like I had a professor say, he's like, you know, like it's not an idol, we just misuse our time.
Yeah.
And again, that goes back to self-discipline. Like we don't have it.
Okay, no, wait. I'm just checking my time. But to be completely honest, I have 3 hours and a half today, but 1 hour was on Zoom. The other hour was on YouTube listening. And then so far, I have no idea what that was, but it wasn't that bad today. But if I go back to the last couple weeks, it's like 6 hours, 8 hours average.
A day.
Yeah. That's crazy to me.
You see, for me, I think the thing for me is that I constantly have something playing in the back. Like I'm not even paying attention to it. Like whether it be music or a show or something, like something's always playing. So it's like, yeah, it could be on, but it's like my attention isn't on it.
Okay.
So that's why for me, like if I check my timer, I'd probably.
I'm trying to think, maybe
Like,
that is
what necessarily like what necessarily does it fall into that category? You get me?
It's true. Is there another question?
Yes.
Oh. Let's see. Have you ever used your social media account or accounts to talk about God through posts or DMs? If yes, could you explain? If not, do you think you can?
Okay, so for me, I have at times like I don't know. I think maybe I've posted a Bible because again, like I don't really post a lot, so I don't remember everything that I posted. But I know at times like I'll repost like things of like reviews of anything. You get me? Like I think that's kind of one of the ways I'm a little more active. Like when it comes to reposting things that our youth do. You get me? And I think if anybody like if they went and they saw it, they'd be like, oh, it's the church affiliation. You get me? So it's kind of like in one way, yes, I'm promoting, or you get me? I have promoted this. But I have also in other ways, like sharing appreciation or something, you get me? Like,
okay. I feel like, at least this question, like, I bring it back to TikTok, but I haven't been posting a lot because I feel like I've said, like I want to grow my faith and my understanding in God to be able to also express it out to others. But I feel like I could post verses, I just haven't. But I want to do that. But I think I like on TikTok I always try to repost videos that I see that really like touch my heart also. And I think like it's something that could help others also see the love of God or understanding. Like I think recently I found some videos of like some people's testimonies and it's just like hearing it like gets my heart so like, you know, warm and like happy for them because God works in so many different ways and he's done it in our lives like all throughout our lives we just don't really notice it. So kind of just like having those reposts is like a reminder of God.
If somebody hasn't done a good job of reflecting Christ on social media, like I don't want them to think that they can't start doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You get me? Like to not allow fear or judgment to hold them back from doing it.
Yeah.
Right? Because at times I think if we're like, oh well, you know, I wouldn't post necessarily like a Christian thing, right? And then it's like I don't really want to do it. Like I don't think we should allow that to hold us back.
I think that's also like part of the testimony too, because you see that change in yourself and you're able to admit it too, like hold yourself accountable. But yeah, I think definitely want to start posting more. I think it's good to share the word of God in any way you can, and just to be open and honest and have like good intentions with posting and what you're watching.
Definitely. But again, you get me. I think like we were saying about about our testimonies, right? You see that shift. And I think that's important if you need to know that we should all aim, if we haven't had that shift yet, is to aim to have that shift. And to ask God to help transform us, right? Because at the end of the day, that's what my personality change is.
Yeah.
So it's like leaning in, like you know, diving into Him and asking Him for that transformation.
Guidance.
Yes.
Yeah. I'm asking for that for all of us too, but you know, to always help guide us and to learn and grow in Him specifically, not in the world.
Yeah. Because at the end of the day, like, we do have to remember we have been called to be set apart. We're called to be different, and I think one thing that we should all take from it is to make sure that we're not only doing that on social media, but in our day-to-day lives.
Yeah, it's true. I think also just with social media, to not try to portray ourselves like in a certain way, but to just let God speak, like this podcast.
Do you want to close this in prayer?
Yes! All right, let's bow our heads. I might do it in Spanglish, by the way.
That's fine.
But Padre nuestro, gracias por este día, por la oportunidad de estar aquí con cada uno de estos jóvenes, de estar en este ministerio, Padre, por esta bendición. Gracias, Señor, por guardarnos de todo mal, por cuidarnos, por ayudarnos en todo, Padre, por darnos este día de vida, de tener esta vida, de poder glorificar tu nombre, de poder amarte, de dar tu palabra, de leer tu palabra, de tener tu presencia con nosotros. Le pido, Señor, que nos ayude a cada uno de nosotros en nuestra fe, en los problemas que tenemos, que siempre pongamos a ti primero en nuestra vida, en lo que sea que hay, Padre. Le pido, Señor, que guardes a cada uno de cualquier mal, que nos guíes. Ayúdanos en todo, en el nombre de Jesús.